Hello everyone. Our group name is a Group of Miracle. Our topic is about the perspective of positive psychology, the mental health of impoverished undergraduate study. We have 7 different group members. The first one is Zhang and Zuo Chunrong, Xie Zhenzhen, Feifei, Xiaoyan, Xue, and the one who is representing right now, Chen Ying. We have 5 different contents. The first one, we will give you an introduction. Next one, we will give you the research design, and moving on to the results analysis and suggestions and features. And the last one is about the references. So, how do we begin with our introduction? We have 4 parts in our introduction part. The first one is the background we use for the research. In recent years, many scholars in China have carried out a lot of research on the group of poor students in college and universities, but most of them focused on the negative psychological quality and involved their positive psychological research. So, the poor college students are a special group in the process of higher education reform, facing a series of pressures such as economy, society, employment, and it produced many psychological problems which have a great impact on their life, study, social, and so on. So by doing the literature review, positive psychological breaking through the limitation of previous research, explore the flashpoints in human nature and let people see the positive side. College students learn to be grateful in an important part of building a harmonious society and also help to cultivate their sound personality and good quality. So about the content, we have 4 different content. The first one is whether there are significant differences in demographic variables such as gender, age, grade in the feelings of poor college students. The second one is whether the correlation between gratitude, psychological capital, perception of stress, and mental health is significant. And the third one is whether indirect perspective effort of gratitude and psychological capital on mental health through pressure perception is significant. And fourth is the indirect perspective effort of emotional capital and pressure perception on mental health significant or not. So about the subjects are all the students from the poor college students, and of them understand the feelings, characteristic of poor college students with different demographic variables and put forth corresponding interventions for how to improve their mental health level. So that's 4 parts in our introduction. Moving on to the research design. So how to design our research? We have 3 parts. The first one is survey research. Use scale, random sampling, and questionnaire survey. The second one is casual, comparative, statistical analysis confirmed influence of stress perceptions and other factors on poor college students' mental health. And last one, quantitative research. This research mainly adapts quantitative research method. So in this part, the first one, we have 4 different scales for our content to do as a tool to do the survey. The first one is grateful scales. We have 14 items and using a 5-level scores. And the second one is CPSS, which is Chinese perceived stress scales, includes 2 dimensions of feelings out of control and feelings of tensions, which a total 14 on a 5-point scales. And the third one is PCQ, which is psychological capital questionnaire, which includes 4 dimensions of confidence, hope, resilience, and optimism, which is a total of 14 of them. And the last one is mental health scale, includes 6 dimensions of happiness, experience, positive happiness, interpersonal harmony, emotional regulation, goal pursuit, and courage to challenge. Then, and moving on to the random sampling, and in this study, the method of random sampling was adapted to randomly select some freshmen to journey from the database of core students in normal universities, and 500 questionnaire was distributed on the spot and recovered on the spot. And moving on to the statistical method. So, and that's all the tools for doing the research. How about the results and analysis? So we have 5 different results, and all of them showing there are no significant from between students from different places of origin in terms of dips, feelings, and so on. So that's all for our first result. And the second result is showing there is also no significant differences between men and women in the total score of gratitude and the dimensions of gratitude. And the third one is also showing there is no significant differences between different majors in college and universities. And the fourth showing and there is no significant differences in the grades of poor college students failing. And last result showing there is no significant differences in the pass dimensions of total score of poor college students of different levels. So in the part 2, and they're showing there are 2 positive correlations between which one is between graduate and mention capital and mention health dimensions and total score, and the second one is the mental health dimensions and total score and stress perception. And the last 3 negative correlations, which are the stress perception, psychological capital pressures perception, and the mental health dimensions and the total score. So that's all for the part 2. So in part 3, the direct perspective efforts of gratitude on mental health is significant, and the perception of stress plays a part of the mediating role between gratitude and mental health of impoverished college students. Part 4, the direct perspective effort of psychological capital on mental health is also significant, and in this part is showing that the perceptions of stress plays a part of the mediating role between psychological and also between the mental health. And the last one is a conclusion. Psychological capital and mental health and also the pressure perception plays a very important part of mediating role between feeling and mental health. So moving on to the fourth part, the suggestion and the features. Suggestions, we have 2 parts. The first one is to promote emotional development by using group counseling, and also improve the self-confidence of students, and also through graduate interventions on poor college students, and help them to establish more positive interpersonal relationships. And the part 2 is to promote psychological capital developments. And the last one is about the features. And features of our research have 4 different features. The first one is unique research perspective, and the second one is to explore the mission of interaction between gratitude, and various statistical methods are used and introduced new variables. So that's all the information for our research. And the last part is about the references we use for our research. So that's all for our group presentation. Thank you for your watching.